Morning, everybody. This is Doug Pinter from Anytime Fitness Peoria, and we got Marcel Jordan from Stanley Steemer in house this morning on Daily Energy. Good morning, bud.
Good morning. Glad to be back.
Man, when I called my buddy Mark over at Stanley Steemer this morning, I was like, hey, you want to send a good person in like Marcel that I can actually hold a conversation with about sports? He goes, yeah, sure, why not? A little shout out to Mark. He coached the baseball team last night. I was playing in the Peoria Chamber of Commerce golf outing out at Weaver Ridge. So congrats to the Chamber. You guys put on one heck of a golf outing. Weaver Ridge was in great shape. Now, Mark, not so much. Team starting 0-1. I'm back in the dugout tonight. We're taking on a hot Notre Dame team. So I got to give these boys a pep talk. I told Mark, go kick some dust on the plate last night, fire the umps up, get kicked out, do something to fire up the team. Team lost 6-4 last night.
Oh, boy. Well, Mark did say that he abandoned the kids yesterday.
Oh, geez, here we go already.
So, I wish you guys the best, getting the win tonight. You guys definitely need to bounce back. But 6-4 is not bad, though.
6-4, the boys finally started swinging the bats at the end. They were a little nervous first game.
But I understand you guys need to work on the basics, like bunting. A lot of guys don't know how to bunt on the team, I hear.
Well,
oh, boy.
I'm glad you brought that up. I said, Mark, how's the game going? He goes, bats are cold. I said, you ever think about just bunting, get the ball in play, make the defense play?
Sure.
And then next thing I know, with 4 runs on the board. I don't know. I don't want to say it was me texting in, but
sure.
Probably me texting in. Hey, all is right in the world. The Cubs are back on top. LeBron passes MJ in all-time playoff points scored. Doesn't matter. MJ is still the better player. And Cavs, 7 straight finals. We're also going to talk Indy 500, the weather, the odds-on favorite over there, so make sure you stay tuned in. Marcel, we're going to talk a little bit about how people opened up the windows with some of the nice days. The allergens came in. Now everyone closes those windows, turns the air on, just filtrates all that. So we're going to talk about a few things you and Stanley Steemer can do to help get those allergens out of the house. And I understand you guys are doing a lot of fire work right now.
Correct. Obviously, that's a unfortunate service that we do provide on the fire side of things.
Yeah.
But yes, we are staying busy. Month-long projects. Completely. Gutting if needed. Or just simply cleaning up, getting them back and rebuilt and back in their home as quickly as possible.
It's got to be a tough situation to go in where people could have lost everything or parts of memories to first let them know you got their back, and then to do that outstanding job that you guys always do.
Absolutely.
And to put their house back together and even better prior to the fire. Hopefully that'll help them move on to the next stage in their life. So we'll cover a little bit of that, but hey, let's get to the Cubs. They are 25-21 back on top, Marcel. Jeez, I mean, this was the longest first start of the season ever, wasn't it?
A little slow, a little sluggish.
So I was doing a little research on the Cubs like I always do on my Friday mornings, and, Arrieta came out, said they're off-speed pitches. It's no surprise they were struggling. That's common first part of the season. Now they're starting to get their off-speed location down. The fastballs are money. And starting to hit their spots. Bats are definitely warming up. Said last week on the show they're starting to see the ball and hit it. Yesterday, when they were taking on the Giants in Samardzija, Chris Bryant, number 11 on the year, followed up by Hayward and Zobrist. They defeat the Giants yesterday. Giants have lost 12 of the last 14 in Wrigley. Samardzija, who was with the Cubs for 6 years, 2008, 2014, fresh out of Notre Dame. He went 7 innings, 8 strikeouts. He went 154 innings without a walk until yesterday. So Samardzija is on point, but the Cubs really drilled him, really made him pay for the mistakes. 26 home runs in the last 14 games, so definitely the Cubs batters are seeing the ball. I know Rizzo is just hitting them. And how about out of the park? How about Schwarber the other night? First time in a long time.
Yes.
Put one out there on, what is that, Addison?
Yes.
So, did you see that bomb?
I did. I
mean, it just kept going.
That's vintage, though. That's like when he put the one up on the scoreboard in the playoffs, that year. So
just think if the weather were about 85, 90 with the wind blowing out, how far that ball would have gone.
Sure.
So the Cubs were 7-2 in the homestand. Butler, that they brought up, 4-16 in his career. He's won all 4 games against the Giants. 6.72 ERA. Goodness, it can only go down, right? I mean, you and I might get out there. Chris Bryant yesterday, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of took me back, made me think of the Patriots. Chris Bryant hit a ball out to left field. Fan reached over the basket to catch the ball. And the Giants were thinking about a booth review, but all of a sudden the phones went dead in the Giants' dugout.
Imagine that. Hey.
So the manager for the Giants squashed that quickly in the post game, said it was a legit home run, but he did think it was ironic how the phones happened to go out just at that perfect timing. Hey, Hayward, we talked coming into the season. He was doing a lot of work in the offseason on his swing, cleaning up the stride and the movement of his overall swing. And his offense performance has really picked up. He's hit last year he hit a total of 4 home runs in 79 games. He's already sitting on 5. Last year, he didn't even get there. So way to go, Hayward. The home run he hit yesterday, the exit velocity was 108, 373 feet. And he said it felt good coming off the bat. He's seeing the ball. It's a little bit more like a softball, he said. So he's able to pick up those pitches. And with the new swing and the hard work over the season, off season, he's really starting to see his benefits pay off. The pickoff at first base is what Madden said was the key pivotal play in the game yesterday in the 6th. They threw over to Rizzo, picked off runner at first, got the next guy up to ground into a simple ground out, and that really secured the Cubs win.
Sure.
We were talking about this Happ guy brought up from the minor leagues.
Yes.
I'm rooting for him.
I am too. I mean, he's tough.
How about this? You got Rizzo, Schwarber, Happ, all batting in the top 5 positions for the Cubs. And, these lefties can swing the bat. The only time I saw Happ really stumble is when they had bases loaded. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. It was Wednesday night, and he went down swinging. At least he went down swinging.
Sure.
But he's really starting to hit the ball all over the place. And yesterday he robbed two hits, one off Span, and then Posey in the 6th.
Yeah.
He made that catch on the run. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, I saw that. That was definitely excellent. So they're in a bind, but I guess it's a good problem to have that much talent. They're pretty deep in the outfield once again. So
I know the Cubs are starting to shift some players out of the minors, starting to make some trades for pitching. That is on Madden's radar. He will not deny that.
Sure.
So they're already starting to move some people in the minors thinking about the pitching. So Happ, keep it up, man. I'd like to see him in there.
For him.
Hayward is at veteran, but I think Happ is the bat. We'll see.
Or at least the future. So
So Baez yesterday, ground ball. Did you see this? Shallow left field. He made a dive, hopped up. He released the ball from the time he dove to the time he released the ball was 1.2 seconds. Velocity over to first base was over 84 mile per hour. Got the guy at first. It was a heck of a play. Hey, tonight we got the Cubs heading out to the West Coast swing. They got L.A. and then San Diego. Arrieta is going to be throwing out the first pitch tonight at 9:10 Central Time. If you remember, Arrieta's first no-no was out in L.A. He loves pitching in that ballpark. Hands down, tonight, Cubs 7, L.A. 1.
Okay. Hey,
you don't like that?
No, absolutely.
I was pretty spot on last week with 6-4.
Okay.
I know, it's aggressive, right? That's a big ballpark, and the reason I think the Cubs put up that many runs is the small things. They're going to start stealing some bases. I think you'll see the runners active tonight. Couple key base knocks. I don't think we'll have too many homers in that large park, but I do think with the gaps out there, they'll find them. They'll get some extra base hits this evening, drive in those runs, maybe a home run. I'm going to say maybe Schwarber steps up and jacks one out to right center.
Yes.
So L.A., though, 17-8 at home this season. It's going to be a tough stretch. Wade Davis, good news for the Cubs, the closer. Wade Davis, he's 10 for 10 on save opportunities. He gave up 2 runs with home runs. That's the first time he gave up a home run in 64 1/3 innings. So I'll take that.
I'll take it. It wasn't looking good, though. He had me nervous that day. But
I'm never 100% comfortable sitting on my couch watching a Cub game, to be honest with you. The days of old have left deep scars. The cutter, slider, fastball, curve, those are all really working for Davis. Lester, complete game. Hendricks went 7 innings. Madden, he actually went on record. He said, we're nowhere near where we will peak. He thinks the Cubs will peak in 2 to 3 years. So we'll see if that ever comes about.
Wow.
Before we hop on the Cardinals here, let's talk a little bit with our good friend Marcel Jordan, relative of Michael Jordan. We're going to cover Michael here in a little bit. Probably, no. But we're going to talk a little bit. Stanley Steemer, you were talking about fire restoration. How are some of these fires starting? Is it electrical? Is it just...
Some of them are just, kitchen grease fires,
I've been there.
electrical, usually is the main cause. Dryers, that type of thing. So
Christmas morning, went to fire up the breakfast casserole.
I don't know.
I cooked bacon in the oven the day before, all the grease.
Yeah.
Just moved into our new home.
Oh boy.
And we had to open the windows. My son was literally hanging out the window coughing.
Yeah.
So just nothing like the holidays. But
Sure.
So I can understand the grease fire. And then the dryers, you're not cleaning out those vents and things of that nature.
Sure.
Preventative maintenance,
Sure.
you can run into that.
Right. In a couple cases we've had, it's just been wiring issues. So, that's obviously, again, unforeseen things, So,
Are we talking total loss, or are we talking partial on most of your rebuilds?
Partial.
Where do you know where the smoke got to, or what wood's damaged, what's not? How do you even start that process, Marcel?
Usually, the smoke obviously will travel. So, you would have to pretty much wipe, that entire floor down, and then depending, on where you smell smoke, then that tells you might have to go, because obviously it's going to settle at some point. So you might have multiple floors that are affected, even though the fire occurred on one different floor.
Yeah.
So
with the HVAC systems, I assume if they're sucking that in, then you guys got to do a thorough clean of that, or what's that look like?
Yeah, you have all your ducts cleaned, and obviously everything would be cleaned and wiped down at that point.
So what's one of your largest fire restorations that you can recall?
Boy, total loss. 3 floors, all affected. Probably we were on the project for close to probably 5 to 6 months, with about 4 to 8 guys daily.
Most important question, was the family okay?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And then how'd the meetings with the family go? That's their home. That's,
Sure.
You only have one home.
Oh, yeah.
And to lose all that, what's that look like? What's the process?
Well, it's never easy, but we're always working with the insurance company to make, the transition, easier, to get back in the home. And we're working with them every step of the way, keeping them informed, and trying our best to take care of them, make sure they're happy.
Take as much off their plate as possible.
Absolutely.
So that way they can focus on
Absolutely.
getting their lives put back together.
Sure.
Marcel Jordan with Stanley Steemer in-house. We were just talking a little bit about fire restoration, smoke restoration. So let's say, I had quite a bit of smoke in my house, smelled of smoke for a few solid days.
Okay.
What do you guys do? You come in, let's say I had a grease fire and it was contained to the kitchen. What do you guys come in and do?
Well, depending on how bad, we might have to
was not looking good.
remove some drywall, or we can just use like chem sponge and degreasers, things like that. Just obviously industrial strength cleaning products, just not something you're going to find at Walmart or something. But and usually there's going to take usually 4 to 10 passes sometimes on the same spot or area. So it's attention to detail type of work. So, our people have to make sure they're doing it properly.
Well, and I know you guys pay attention in detail. Unfortunately, I had a little flood in my home, and you guys came out.
Yes.
And the best thing, Mark, the owner of Stanley Steemer, gave me a ring after the project was complete just to see how my satisfaction was. I said, Mark, honest to God, I sat on the couch and I looked up at the ceiling with my wife, and I said, what do you think? She goes, I can't even tell there was damage. And that right there was just icing on the cake. It took a lot of pressure off me. I thought the project went really smooth. You guys were extremely clean. You wore the things on your shoes. You were vacuuming up. Couldn't be more impressed with how you guys went through that project. And Marcel's mentioning, fire restoration. You guys are taking a lot off the plates of the people that are having a travesty to deal with. So
Sure.
that's awfully professional of you guys, and attention to detail is one thing I always think of when I think of Stanley Steemer. Here in Peoria, if you looking to get the house cleaned up, get ready for Memorial Day, The summer coming up, we're going to talk about how you can remove some of those allergens you might have left in when you open the windows during the spring to get that fresh air coming in.
Yes.
We got to talk a little Cardinal baseball. I get a lot of emails. No, I'm not giving out my email on this show yet. I get enough hate emails from Cardinal fans. Hey, Cardinals, you're in third place trailing the Brewers. I think you guys will surpass the Brewers soon. I think it'll come down to a Cub-Cardinal fun series towards the latter part of the season, see who gets in. I think whoever does not win the NL Central will get a wild card into the playoffs. But let's talk about the Cardinals. They lost yesterday 7-3. Kenta, the pitcher for the other team, hit a 2-run RBI in the fourth. It was a hard hit. He took it up the third base line. The third baseman actually got a little bit of the glove on it, just couldn't pull it in. He knocked in 2 runs, put them ahead, and they held on to the win. Waka, I was a little surprised after the Cardinals put 3 up in the first that he relinquished that lead. He's kind of known, you give him a lead, or Wainwright, they usually are shut down pitchers, but he just didn't have it yesterday. Did you watch any of that game?
I did not. I usually don't view many Cardinal games unless they're playing the Cubs.
Every now and again, I like to tune into the Cardinals.
Okay.
I used to hate the Cardinals. Everybody knows that. But now I enjoy watching the ball game. The broadcasters are fair for both teams, so I can listen into it. Waka, though, we were talking how clutch he is. Yesterday, after the first, he gave up a season-high 6 runs in 4+ innings. Snapped 11-game consecutive quality starts. Quality start is pitching at least 7 innings. I think the definition is a minimal walker, so compared to the strikeout ratio. So he's had a heck of a season. He just had a little hiccup yesterday. The Cardinals, it's their first series loss since April 14th through the 16th against the Yankees. So Cardinal fans, you got a lot to hang your hat on. I mean, that's pretty impressive stat right there. Even though we really don't watch the Cardinals as much. The Cards, hey, one thing that is proven is pitching will get you to the playoffs, and the Cardinals are the MLB's lowest ERA. So pitching-wise, so
that's not surprising. I mean, I think they probably find guys just walking in downtown St. Louis. Hey, can you pitch? Sign them up.
I was a little surprised because I know Wainwright's ERA a couple weeks ago was in the mid-6s. So the other players have really stepped up. Wainwright's getting his action back on his curveball. Tonight, the Cardinals are at Colorado, best team in the MLB, 7:40. You got Martinez starting for you. He threw 9 scoreless innings last time out, so he is hot. You're going to need that in the thin air, playing against the hottest team in the MLB in the Colorado Rockies. How about Judd Gallardo?
Not familiar.
Not familiar.
No.
I just know the name.
Okay.
Watching the Cardinals.
Sure.
Here's some stats. He's batting .336 so far. He reached base 4 times on Wednesday. He had 5 of the 17 Cardinals hits. It's his 13th multi-hit game.
Okay.
He is in the top NL for batting average right now. He is just really working the counts. He said his success is working the counts into a hitter's mentality, getting ahead 2-1, 3-1, get that pitch and then drive it, and he's doing a heck of a good job. His chase rate from last year was 27.6. It's down into the upper 22s. So he's not reaching out over the plate, just swinging at those sliders down and away. So in his launch angle, they really worked during the offseason to increase that launch angle. Last year was a lot of ground balls. Now he's hitting line drives. They want his launch angle up. And I do think Gallardo is going to start slugging some home runs and really be a factor for the Cardinals down the last part of the stretch. So he's actually batting .611 to the right side versus .314 of last year. So when I watched or looked up his shot dispersion or hit dispersion, he's all over. Left field line to right field line. So the defense is having a hard time. They can't shift. They can't move the infielders in. If they do, he's working on these little bloopers just over, get that base knock, get on base. So Gallardo putting in that hard work, just like Hayward during the offseason, really seeing a benefit. He's now batting .397. He's got 10 extra base hits, 13 RBIs, 12 runs, and 17 road games. So Mike Leake, he's 5-2, NL best, ERA 191. He's got 5 strikeouts, no walks on Wednesday. So 9 starts, quality starts, completed the Cards rotation. only giving up 3 runs in 38 and a third inning. There's that pitching for the Cardinals.
There you go. That's definitely going to be key.
Every year it seems like the Cardinals run into a pitching issue, and then they always pitch well. So I think Cardinal fans, I do think you're sitting in a great position. Real quick rundown in the AL West: Houston 32-16, Twins leading the Central 25-18. The Yankees are leading the East and the West. The Rockies with the best record in the MLB 31-18. Then you got your Cubs leading the Central. Nationals 28-18 over in the East Division. Marcel Jordan with Stanley Steemer. Let's talk a little bit. We talked a little bit about fire restoration. I want to talk about these allergens. You know, my son, his allergies, through the roof. I actually got a sinus infection because we had the windows open in the house and just sneezing my head off. So do you guys see this a lot where people open the windows and let all this fresh air, allergens in, then they close it down, turn the air on, they're just filtrating these allergens.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, also you have to figure, the dust has been settled, over the winter. And so when, you're first able to open up and get some fresh air in there, you're also bringing in those allergens on top of what already's in the home. So once we get hot enough to where we can start running, the air conditioning again, yes, we can most definitely come in. We're the only carpet cleaning company in the area that's, or nationally, I should say, we're asthma and allergy friendly. We can extract basically 94% of allergens, that are in your carpet, upholstery, that type of thing.
And I have asthma, so as soon as my allergies fire up and I start sneezing and coughing, all of a sudden I have to labor to breathe a little bit.
Sure.
And I don't want that in my house.
No,
I want to be able to go home and chill out and breathe.
Relax, yes.
And my daughter's having some difficulty with some breathing problems, and we think it might be the sinuses and allergens, and even in the home. So we're going to have you guys come out. You guys clean the upholstery, the rugs, things of that nature, to remove those allergens.
Yep. I would also recommend, if you have tile and all that, because, you can take all those allergens from carpet, or rugs onto hard surfaces as well. So,
that's a good point.
Wood flooring and all that as well. So.
You got the pets laying around. You got that pet dander gathering up on the carpet. It will get over into the corner. So
sure.
Might as well just have Stanley Steemer come out. Take a look. You guys do quotes on that?
Oh, absolutely. With no charge quotes. We can do in-home estimates, or we can get you as close as possible over the phone. We can even do test cleans if you're ever unsure on how, results will turn out.
The thing I like about you guys, I've also had you guys do some work around my house because, let's face it, I'm not a handyman. Okay. I can barely hang a shirt up in my closet, let alone a hook into a stud. But,
sure.
Your estimates, I think people get leery when they hear the word estimate. But you guys are, within like 2% most of the time when you guys have been doing work at my house. You guys have it down. This isn't your first rodeo.
Oh no. Like I say, we're especially if we see it. If we see what's going on, if it's a different situation like water or something you've had, there could obviously be unforeseen things, behind walls or something like that. But, generally any kind of service cleaning wise, if we have eyes on it, we will be able to get you a solid number.
I tell you what, you guys got out quick during my flood. You saved me thousands from having that water seep into the subfloor and down into the walls. So, it was, you guys do a heck of a job over at Stanley Steemer. We have Marcel Jordan in studio, sitting in for our good friend Mark Hoagland, who led the boys to a loss last night. We did touch on that a little bit. Earlier in the show, we were talking about fire restoration and where's the smoke get to? How do you restore that? I had a little grease fire in my oven. Not a big deal. Nothing says Christmas, Merry Christmas like coming into a smoke-filled kitchen. Come on, have a seat, grab an OJ, and take a deep breath of that smoke. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about your uncle, Michael Jordan, versus LeBron. I'm not a LeBron James fan. Everybody knows that. I do think he is good for the community. He does a lot of outstanding things, such as the schools. He's got this mentor program. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Where the kids go to school, they have good attendance, good grades, do community work. He will pay for their college.
Yes.
But you have all these prerequisites, and if you miss any of them, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
But he puts his money where his mouth is over in
Sure.
the land, Cleveland.
Sure.
What's your prediction before I start running into these stats? We got Cavs close out Boston last night. LeBron did dominate that series. He looked extremely fresh, and man, when he took it to the rim, he was throwing down some nasty, filthy slams.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they list him at what, 250 or 240. I would probably say he's a little bit more than that, but
He's a tank.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's a man out there that can stop him. I mean, he's just too versatile.
Have you ever seen him in person?
I have. Yes, I actually. When they've been talking about the whole sitting and everything in the NBA, we had tickets. Chicago, not right behind Cleveland's bench, and of course they sit him and rest him. But I saw him in plain clothes, so yeah, he's a big guy.
Back when I lived down in Florida, caught a Magic game, and the very first play I sat down, LeBron had it at the top of the left key. He took one dribble, 2 steps, cradled it like a football, and his head was above the rim.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, okay, this guy's legit.
Exactly.
I knew that he is a superstar,
Sure.
just like Kobe Bryant, just like Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
just like Love. I mean, he's got some players that he's thrown under the bus, and these players have taken the high road, in my opinion.
Sure.
And now they sing his praises on air. They really don't call him out. I think the coach is doing a hell of a job trying to corral those personalities and keep LeBron in check and run his style of game, not
Sure.
LeBron's style.
Right.
I think that's key in a fine line he's walking, but it seems to be pretty good with closing out Boston. What's your thoughts on the opening game Thursday, June 1st, Golden State and the Cavs over in Golden State?
With them adding Durant, I see when them guys are struggling, Durant comes in, and he gets like that 5 to 10 minutes of time a game usually where he takes control. And I think Cleveland, if they gave Kyrie that opportunity, that would be a handful. But
I do think Boston, get back to them real quick, first round draft pick next year. I think they need to sit on that. And then I think Boston will be back in. I think they will give Cleveland serious problems next year. I would not be surprised if Boston pulls away. But back to Cleveland and Golden State, I think Golden State handles their business. You're talking about Durant. I saw an interesting fact, and they were talking about, will Durant be the MVP? I don't know who else would be on that team, and here's why. Durant leads 4 of the 5 categories: points, assists, rebounds, and steals. And not just that, but Curry and Thompson's performance on the court, they shoot close to 50% when Durant is on the floor. And when Durant is not on the floor, they're in the upper 20s, low 30s on their field goal percentage. That tells me the defense really has to pay attention to Durant driving to the lane. He's tall, he's lengthy. He can hit that 12-foot jump shot any day of the week. You got Livingston, who's money from the edge of the free throw stripe.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you got Curry and Thompson. You leave them open with Durant driving. That's an easy 3-point.
it's a problem.
So
a huge problem.
I hope for Durant's sake, jumping over, I hope he gets that ring. People may say it's a little cliche. Oh, he bought it, whatever. You know what? Good for him. In life, if I can better myself and my family, I'm definitely going to do it. And the outside opinion really just doesn't matter.
So you're definitely rooting Golden State all the way.
Oh yeah. What gave that away? Just my distaste for LeBron. I think Golden State handles business. 5 games. I think Cavs will pull out 1 at home. It won't be a blowout. Let me run through some stats with you real quick. We got 2 minutes left. So Golden State points, they average 116. That's first in the NBA. Their opponents, 104.3. That's 11th. The strength of schedule or average wins, 11.5. That's first. The pace of play, 99.8. That's 4th in the NBA. Offensive rating, 115. That's first. Defensive rating, 104. That's second. I think without Durant, they're not at that 104. So listen to those numbers. Here's the Cavs, 51-31 on the season. Points, 110. They are 4th in the NBA. The opponents, 107, 20th out of 30. Yeah. I mean, Golden State's going to run rampant on these guys. Golden State's going to blow Cleveland out. It's going to settle the debate on who is the big team in the NBA. I think Golden State averages about 13-point differential on these wins in the NBA Finals.
Sure.
I think they're going. I can't believe Boston didn't go at LeBron a little bit more with 4 personal fouls, get him stuck in the on the bench a little bit.
Sure.
Jordan LeBron stats. All right, here we go, people. I did not make this up. Championships: Jordan 6, LeBron 3. Seasons in the NBA, Jordan 15, LeBron 14. Playoffs played, 13 to 12. All-Stars, 14 to 13. MVPs, Jordan 5, LeBron 4. I think it'll stay that way at the end of this year as well. Finals MVP, Jordan 6, LeBron 3. I mean, the list goes on. LeBron did surpass Jordan last night in playoff points, but let me read you this. Here are the best averages from playoffs. Jordan, 43.7 points to LeBron's 35. Rebounds, Jordan 8 to LeBron's 11. Assists, they tied at 8.5. Steals, Jordan is about a steal higher. And then blocks, he is about a block higher as well. So Jordan's still dominating when you take the best averages.
Sure.
Come on, we got Indianapolis 500 we didn't get to talk about in the PGA Tour. My good friend Marcel Jordan in from Stanley Steemer on Daily Energy. My name is Doug Pinner from Anytime Fitness Peoria. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all our veterans out there now and past serving our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
PeoriaLife.com